Liberty Nation with Tim Donner.
As we continue with our B&B panel, the best and brightest from LibertyNation.com, we continue our examination of the future of the Republic with Sarah Cowgill, Jeff Charles, and Joe Schaefer. And let's talk about the state of our American institutions, the Congress, courts, media, military, civil society, corporate America, and the growing specter of increasingly dominant big tech, social media. Jeff, let's focus first on the Fourth Estate, as it used to be called, which Donald Trump famously dubbed the fake news media. Was their takedown of Trump more a singular effort to destroy a uniquely threatening figure, merely a continuation of the same media bias we've witnessed for decades, or an indication that all the traditional rules of objective journalism are gone forever?
The answer is yes to all three of those.
I'm sorry, I didn't provide you a D, all of the above.
Yeah, no, it is definitely all of the above. I mean, we've seen that the media has been biased for decades, right? But the thing is, there was just always a left-wing bias. Over the past 5 years, it's gone from bias to full-on out assault. There is a reason why I refer to them as the activist media. They don't deserve to be called news outlets. I call them the activist media. I call them media activists. People like Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, they are activists. They are not journalists. And the fact that Time magazine felt so bold as to write an article bragging about how the media worked hand in hand with the Democratic Party and left-wing operatives to take down Trump shows that they had definitely a vendetta against Trump, possibly because they saw him as being somebody who would be more effective at carrying out the conservative agenda. So, yeah, I mean, it's all of the above. And I think from here on out, it's only going to get worse. I mean, and that article in Time magazine showed that it's going to get worse because they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah, they're not even trying to hide it. They're, in fact, proclaiming it. They're proud of it. They wear it as a badge of honor. Yeah. Now, Sarah, it seems the power of the entrenched forces of the federal government has been given an enormous boost by the growing power of social media, which is now unapologetically, just as much as traditional media, censoring or canceling conservatives. Does this power signal the death knell for the conservative agenda? Or will it incite conservatives to action which can somehow neutralize Facebook, Twitter, and all the rest?
Well, what I've noticed, just in my own little circle of conservative and, more independent libertarian friends, they're not on Facebook anymore. They're not on Twitter anymore. They have switched to different platforms. They just disappeared. So I do believe that there will be a resurgence. And as soon as it gels, right now all these new platforms are too new and nobody can understand how to use them. And, people of a certain age, we're like, what the heck? How do you get from here to there and the other thing? So I think once it gels, I think you'll see an uprising again on social media where they feel they have the ability to speak freely and not worry about having fact checkers send through their every last word. That's not quite what you're talking about. You're a little bit wrong. Here's Steve White. Nobody likes that. And so people have just stopped talking politics. If they're still on Facebook just to throw pictures out there and plan high school reunions, they're not talking politics anymore on Facebook. People are posting about it. Like news outlets are posting, but people have just stopped posting. They've stopped talking and they've gone other places. So I don't think you're going to see the conservatives bow out as much as, fall back 10, regroup, huddle up, figure out what to do next, and then march forward. I just see it taking a little bit of time.
Joe, let's turn to you. Though we don't give the concept much thought, America was built on a foundation of a civil society. Voluntary associations, formal and informal, from what clubs you want to join to what people you choose to spend time with, has always undergirded our way of life, if not defined it. How would you assess the state of civil society, broadly speaking, and its relationship to government circa 2021?
Yeah, I'm seeing some very disturbing things, and I'd like to focus on the civil discourse. What Jeff and Sarah just said, big box media, big tech, these are instruments of oppression too. But we're seeing individual human behavior that is disturbing. Story just the other day, this was in Canada, Toronto, but as we all know, not far removed from America culturally, what's happening here today. A Catholic it was at a Catholic school board meeting, not a public school, a Catholic school board meeting. A Catholic parent spoke out against the LGBT flag being flown in Catholic schools. The Catholic Church considers homosexuality a sin. For this, a police investigation was conducted against him for a hate crime. A Toronto City Council member accused him of wanting to drown homosexuals because he made a reference to what Jesus Christ says in the gospel about tying a millstone around your neck if you lead children astray. So what concerns me with that story is the viciousness of it. And you know, we like to think, oh, it's fragility, it's snowflakes, but it's really not becoming that anymore. It's becoming cruelty. And what I liken it to is the new voyeurism. You know, this is a base instinct in human beings that really needs to be suppressed. In the past, voyeurism was, you know, we get excited and titillated about these sexual scandals. Well, we've become a nation, a culture of dirty sheet sniffers today. But it's not sexual shenanigans that we're focused on. It's bad words and racism and destroying people's lives with this just to get a cheap thrill, apparently. To me, the lesson of Covington was never about fragile snowflakes. It was about this drive-by assault on this high school kid. It was a pile-on. It was people peeping into windows and pointing out this poor kid. They didn't like the way he looked on his face. This is all very dangerous. We need to understand that you can hate the things that I believe in. You have that right. I want you to have that right. What you can't do is use that to discriminate against me in a public forum. But I was raised Catholic. You can hate the Catholic Church. That you have that private right. And I don't think people understand that anymore. They really don't understand that anymore. And that scares the hell out of me.
It seems like half the nation is, in effect, acting as a resistance to reality on the ground. Do you see it that way, Jeff?
We have a culture now that makes it okay to mistreat somebody if you believe that they said something that was bigoted or inappropriate. It's a way to virtue signal, and it's a way to get attention and to get people to give you plaudits.
Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Mark Angelides, Sarah Cowgill, Tim Donner, and Scott Cosenza, and this is Liberty Nation.
Now let's take a look at the LibertyNation.com electoral leaderboard. It's still 238 for Joe Biden.
What if stories and legends can offer us the key to unraveling the hottest political issues of the day and apply their lessons to understanding the chaos of modern politics?
Impeach 45!
Only where freedom of speech is honored can people who look, sound, or think differently be truly free.
If you're discussing something that's difficult, the probability that you're not going to offend each other is zero.
President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump is now president.
With one click, Liberty Nation delivers tomorrow's news.
And remember, liberty.
Today.
All the time and everywhere.
LibertyNation.com